I have a leukodystrophy, and as you've probably heard, there are about 41 or 42 different types of leukodystrophies, and mine is called adrenomyeloneuropathy, and abbreviated with AMN, and it's X-linked. That means my mother was a carrier, and I had two brothers who had this condition, but when they had it, they were never diagnosed because no doctor was able to diagnose what was wrong with them, because they were 10 years apart in their deaths. My brother was older than I am, the first brother, and the younger one's 4 years younger than me. And one died in 1945, and my younger brother died in 1955. So it was a spread of 10 years. And it was just a big puzzle as to what was the cause of their death. And then when I started off showing signs of not walking very well, I had what was called foot drop. When you walk, you put your heel down first. We don't think, do we? How we walk, put your heel down, just do it. But I was tripping. I think, what did I trip on? Looking around, nothing I tripped on. I had what was called foot drop. So that meant I was putting my toe down instead of my heel first. So that's why I'd trip, I'd fall. So that was going on for a while. And then I became quite unsteady on my feet, walking. And then it was decided, I decided, I need to check out what's wrong, what's causing this. And I had the doctors puzzled for some time. And all this time being puzzled, me being concerned, my condition became worse. And so I couldn't tell you a space of time, but it was a fair space of time. I was admitted to the Royal Melbourne Hospital under a neurologist, and he did various tests, etc., etc. I mean, I was there for 1 week, and I didn't have what we would call a very happy time, a very negative feeling about that hospital, but that's just me. Don't rub the hospital off at all. And but I was diagnosed by him as having MS. And a little while later, I saw another doctor. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Look, I've just been told recently I have MS." He said, "You haven't got MS." He was a GP, and I knew him quite well. He said, "You haven't got MS." I said, "That's good. What have I got?" I said, "I don't know. It'd be up to them to investigate further. It's certainly not MS." However, then sometime later, I saw another doctor, neurologist, who was elderly then, and I had family links with him, and he suggested then I'd go to see this doctor, he's Professor Edward Byrne, and he was at St Vincent's Public Hospital, and I was in there for 2 weeks and being tested and so on, and he asked me many questions. He asked me about my family, so I told him about my brothers. And he then had been linked with the Women's Children's Hospital in Adelaide, and they were doing a lot of research and working on all this condition. Anyway, he then, after I had these blood tests and different other tests, I went home and he said, "Look, I'll ring you, come back to see me when I ring you," so which I did with my sister. And anyway, he said, "Look, this is what you have." So he explained it to me. It was called adrenomyeloneuropathy, and he said it's not affecting your brain as yet, it's affecting your peripheral nerves. That's why my walking has gone, ability to walk. And we all have a myelin sheath, you know, it goes from our brain right down our spine. Well, see, my myelin sheath has been destroyed right down this. The myelin, if you understand, is like a covering over electric wires. You know, where you see a cord up there. It's
like an insulator.
And so mine, apparently, so they say, is fragmented, worn. So that's worn. So, I mean, my condition did become rather severe and very upsetting, but then I had to try and work out what am I going to do, etc., etc. Childhood was fine. No, I would have been in my 30s when this started. With family and friends, I mean, of course I was very, very upset about the whole thing and what am I going to do, etc. But I was very fortunate that I had, the year I was diagnosed, my mother died, and even though it's sad when the parent dies, I was grateful she wasn't there to see me with the condition becoming worse. But my sister's very, very kind to me, very good, very caring, very concerned, everything she could do to help me. Also some very good friends I have from childhood, right from when I started school almost. They're still in touch with me a lot, and they've done everything they can to help me. Anything I need, I sort of try not to ask for many things. I mean, I have this chair, which I fortunately was able to purchase, and I enjoy it because it gives me some independence. Did drive a car before, but I miss that now. But this is like a car to me. Other impacts, I think with, I was a teacher, I was taught in primary schools, principal of a number of primary schools, and I had to step back from all that, of course. Now I'm happy I don't have to teach. Then I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I did I'll work around different places, sort of helping students become, if they're low achievers, help them to improve. So I did that kind of thing, and anyway, then I was invited to go to America. I was contributed in being able to meet people who have a leukodystrophy, adults, yes, but with me it's been with a mother or father who have a small child with a leukodystrophy. And when I see them, it sometimes makes me think of my younger brother, what they had, or he had, and how sad it is, and for them to be able to accept it and cope with it, and where they get help. See, we often talk about, I don't know if either of you have children, any of you, but if you have a child who needs a lot of physical help, if you live in a home, a very nice home, has steps to get into the home, the bathroom is an ordinary bathroom, well, if that person's disabled as I am, but a small child disabled, has been able to walk, no longer able to walk, well, those parents or the family need to be able to have access to get into the house, and the bathroom needs to be modified. Now, how can they do that if they haven't got a bit of revenue? So if people are working a simple job and they're getting salary, that's to put bread and butter on the table, as the saying goes, well, how can they improve their living area for the child?
And speaking on that, how do you think your condition has challenged you?
Well, I'm fortunate. It's challenged me. I've been able to live in a place where I have these things modified. So for myself, I'm grateful and I'm fortunate. But I think of these people who haven't got that. I mean, I don't live in that. I live in a nursing home now, sadly in one way, but I'm fortunate because it's good. But I think parents who don't want the child to be in hospital, or even an adult to be in a nursing home or in care all the time, if they want their home modified to have their child or their adult, whatever, at home, how can they cope with all that? I guess considering we had two brothers, and I think my parents were just a wonderful example when I look back, and I have one sister all now, and she's older than I am, and she couldn't have been more caring and more concerned and make sure I had everything I needed. If not, where can we get whatever? No, you've got to have this, got to have that. No, it impacted her to be very caring. She's always been a very caring person. Just didn't happen because of me. That's her personality. And so I don't think it was to answer that simply, I don't think it was a large impact for me, so I'm fortunate. Oh, well, you wish you didn't have this condition, but I have it, nothing to do about it. You live with it, accept it. It can challenge you for sure. Then I think if you have a heart and a mind that will try and accept it. There are people far worse off than I am. I'm the worst off person in the city? No way. Probably more fortunate than many people. I think if you start with doctors seeing, say neurologists, which people with our condition need, seeing neurologists, that they have the understanding they don't know about leukodystrophy, and if they're still young enough as a doctor, a specialist, they would have the mind and the heart to find out a bit more about it. And that's where I think they need to do a lot of research. And I think many of them we've tried now to have doctors not travel overseas. We've had doctors come here from other countries to talk here, so as our doctors will learn a bit more. The experience I had personally from the neurologist I had when I was diagnosed could not have been better. I was very fortunate. That's some years ago, of course, back in the 80s, so it's many years ago. So it might be different now, I don't know. It just depends, I think, on a person's disposition, their personality and their heart. They really got their heart and soul into the medical world, or just trying to get money. I'm a specialist, I need money. So I see it in two phases. In some ways, I think it can always be improved. It's never perfect. Nothing's perfect. But I think of things, some people in the health system, they think this condition too hard to manage. I don't know what to do. How do we do it? I can't do it, I'm going. But then others have a closer link to think, I'd like to find out a little bit more how I could help. What could we do to make it easier for these people? There's something we can do, isn't there? So they could sort of talk about it and then do something. We can talk, not do anything. Talk can be just empty words, I think. It's action, I think, is more important.
What kind of actions do you think need
to make something work more comfortably for people who have a condition, whether it's this condition or another illness. So many different types, MS and MND. I mean, I just think they need to focus on those things a bit more kindly. If they reverse yourself to myself, how would you cope?
Because it's yeah, like you said, it's about comfort, isn't it?
And kindness and understanding. Yeah. To be patient with the patient.
It seems so simple when you say it like that.
Very simple.
Yeah.
I suppose just being able to talk to someone I have great regard for, great respect for. Something might be burning in here. What can we do? What can I have done for me? But I think I've probably been through all that now. It's sort of back there. It's helped me to focus on other people. Looking at the doctors, if there could be more research done regarding conditions of genetic condition that causes people to be so disabled, whether it be mentally or physically or both. So I think that could be looked at more.
Why do you feel that's important?
Well, to make it easier to live with it, and for the doctor to understand how that person might be trying to cope. If the doctor can't do anything about that, maybe there are people in other avenues who can do that, because the doctor can't do everything. The doctor will diagnose and perhaps say this could be done or we'll get that done. But I think there are other people in other roles in the medical area, not a doctor, maybe highly trained nurses, or people who'd be interested in finding out a bit more about that if they've got that in their career. Could be a good career, I think, if people could have that mentality to try and find out what else can we do to do something about that. Now, look, I was going to say about America, I'll just skip over that, but as a result of being in America for about 10 weeks or more, I saw something over there, so they can do it over there, I'm going to try something here. So when I came back here in about 1991, I thought, now I've witnessed a support group in another country, so we're going to try and build up one here in Australia. So I started one here. So that was the beginning of that. So we've got a support group growing here.
How's that going?
Well, it can be challenging, hard. There's no revenue, little revenue to employ someone, so that person can work full time without really getting her just desserts, which I think is very, very terrible. No, but I think, I mean, I've been to many people with some friends and other allies. What can we do to get some revenue? I mean, there used to be the Lord Mayor's appeal when Bromman's sister was, when Robin, because Bromman's sister was my first secretary when I got this group going, some years after. Because it was a lot of work and I couldn't do it all myself, so I thought, what am I going to do? Down tools? No. So I had to get it going. So fortunately I had Robin for some years, and then Robin resigned, and so Bronwyn came on the scene. She's just been wonderful. But I think to have them paid when they're working full time, it's necessary because we've got people all over Australia who link in to Bronwyn, and for them to do justice and help them, it's very hard to just do 3 days a week. Phone calls, emails, all that kind of thing goes on all the time. And the time difference from state to state can make a difference also. And we've had some meetings with, as I said before, bring up the doctors here to Australia to have a meeting for a day or 2 days to learn more about a particular type. So that kind of thing goes on.
So you haven't had much experience with any other support groups, really?
No, not directly. I mean, we did have an office over at the MS place, but prior to that I did know a couple of people who had MS, and then the motor neurone, which is a nasty condition, and but I have not been directly connected. I was just an IC or talking.
I guess where I was leading to was, I was interested to know perhaps what your experience was like dealing with other support groups, whether access to information was easy, whether there was much engagement, but yeah, if you haven't really had that much direct contact.
No, I guess not, because so involved with us, not being selfish, but because so many people in need, because we have from babies to people my age and a bit older with the conditions. So it's a very busy group.
What do you think constitutes a good support group to really look after your needs or the needs of people that you're currently looking after?
Very hard. I'd say initially it's people who have got a heart and an ear to try and listen and understand, and then some revenue. I mean, the revenue I think is very paramount. If you've got that, then you can link in and get people to have got a bit of mind to try and talk and help people. I mean, you might be able to help them get better, but you can help them with their heart and their mind to try and understand. Because I think some parents, when they have a baby or a small child who's got this condition, they start to deny, I can't believe it, why me, why? It's very hard. Then to be able to console or understand how those people are feeling is very important. I think people say, oh, it's bad luck. It is bad luck. What are you going to do about it?
So it sounds like, having the finances there really helps with things where you need to take action.
Yes, but also to get someone to work, get some money for their work. I mean, I feel really badly when they're not being paid justly. When people in these big buildings, they're paid, money. Money makes the world go round sometimes.
Besides money,
Pardon?
besides money for support groups, what do you think needs to change for support groups to be really effective?
Well, I just don't know how much the state government or the federal government would even consider thinking about that. We've got too many other things about building roads, buildings, all that. I mean, I'm not saying they're not needed, they are, but I wish they could prioritise things. You know, all the buildings, the roads, all that. That's cost a lot, many millions, I know, billions, trillions. But I think for a small support group, which is big enough for us, if we had a few thousand every year, it would be great. They wouldn't miss a few thousand. Say 5,000, would they?
But the impact on that would be...
Yeah, it would be great for us, and we'd make it known on our website. Thanks to our local government, we need to state how much, receive some money to help us get along. We're grateful. Well, in 1991, I think it was, I was invited over there to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore as a research patient, and I was in hospital there for about 5 days. And when I was discharged, I mean, they just researched me, did MRIs and all the other tests they could think of to do me. Anyway, then I met this group at DeKalb in Illinois, and they were the support group I met there with different stages of their illness. And it's a wonderful thing to see. So I had a lot to think about. So I left America, flew back over here, so flying across the Pacific, I thought I'd do something about all this. I had a lot of things on my mind, so I came back here and started this group.